After the service today, somebody came up to me and told me how they always learn something new. They've been reading this story, this chapter, Luke chapter 15, for years. She's heard about it for years. But this is the first time that she realized a particular application, a particular message within it. The message in that some people are lost in the house. The coin wasn't lost outside of the house, it was lost inside the house. Some people are lost within the house of God. They can come to the house of God, but they're lost. Look at the prodigal son. As the Pharisees and the scribes were complaining about how, look at these sinners. Jesus is spending time with sinners. He's eating with sinners. As they were complaining about that, as they were thinking how lost those people were, they didn't realize that they were lost. Just like with the prodigal son, the whole time you think that the prodigal son is the lost one. But in reality, the lost one was the older brother who stayed at home, the goody two-shoes son, the guy who was working in the field, keeping all the commandments. He was the one that, it turns out, was the lost one. He was the one at the end of the story, and a twist ending. He is the one who's outside of the house. He's the one who's outside of the party, outside of the celebration. You know, it's important when we read the Bible that and we read and we think about these things, that we remember the application. The context. It's important that we remember the context. Understanding the context helps us to understand the application. The context of the lost sheep, the lost coin, the lost sons plural. The context was that Jesus was speaking to the Pharisees and the scribes because of their complaining, because of the fact that they didn't like that Jesus was eating with sinners. Knowing who Jesus was speaking to, knowing the context, helps us to know that the stories were meant for them. That, yes, there are lost people out there in the world, but there are lost people in the church, because he was talking to the Pharisees and scribes. They were the ones who were really lost. Just like how you would think that the prodigal son is the lost one, but in reality, at the end of the day, it was the other brother, the goody two-shoe brother, the one that stayed at home, who was lost. So yeah, I think that is important. We know a lot of the stories in the Bible. We talk about the stories in the Bible. But if we don't understand the context, who is Jesus speaking to, then we can miss out on a lot of what the meaning is supposed to be. So when you read the Bible, try to read around the one verse or the paragraph. See what is the context of what Jesus is saying. What is the context of a passage in the Bible? That goes a long way to understanding it.